Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart, and today I'm so excited to be talking with Leigha Lake. Leigha is an amazing relationship coach. We actually go way back. We trained to be coaches together and we created a whole bunch of programs together. So I know Leigha very well. She helps women shift into their feminine energy and reconnect their relationship. She's the author of the amazing book, How to Make Him Fall in Love All Over Again. And she also helps women transform their relationship with men and money. So there's lots to talk about today. So welcome, Leigha. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Helena. I am so excited. I love talking with you. We go way back. So this is so fun.
We always have so much fun. Well, today we're going to be talking about how to make a man fall in love all over again. This is one of Leigha's specialties. And if you don't have her ebook, you're definitely going to want to check that out. So I'll post a link to that in the description of this video for anyone interested in learning more. But I know Leigha just has so many amazing tips to share. So we're just going to jump right in. So Leigha, let's say I was a client or a woman coming to you for advice, and I know this could apply to any situation. Let's say I was in a long-term relationship and I was feeling my man pulling away or just didn't feel as connected as it did at the beginning. I know that's something I hear from all the time from women. What's the first thing you would have me do, or what's the first thing you would tell me?
Yes, so I love this so much because it really, a lot of times we think and feel that we need to make these huge shifts, or we need to go to marriage therapy or couples counseling or something in order to get him to be able to see our point of view. And some people have been going to marriage therapy for a really long time. And really the smallest shifts in what we do can create the biggest results. So I recently had a woman come to me who she's been married for 20 years, and the relationships, she didn't realize that it never really felt good. She always hoped it would change. And then over time, she started fantasizing about getting divorced and what other men were out there. And she became emotionally numb to her man, to her husband. And so I said, okay, well, let's just see what happens, because I noticed like anything is possible. Anything is possible. So when a woman comes to me, obviously, well, not obviously, I've been doing this so long, so sometimes it's obvious to me, but so we have her stop doing the things that she would typically do in the relationship dynamic. So a lot of women, so if you were my client, Helena, I would just have you stop doing and managing anything. So women will, and I'm going to give some examples. So women will typically do, like if there's a house project, she's overseeing it, and she'll be right next to her husband saying, what do you need? What can I help you with? Do it this way, or I really want it this way. She'll cook dinner, and then she'll say dinner's ready, and then she's already starting to clean up, and it's like there's no room for him. And she becomes resentful that he's not home.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I see that so often in clients, and probably one of the most common, I don't want to say objections, maybe most common questions I get from women, where I advise them to stop that sort of like busybody energy, or just basically doing anything. I know I've heard you say that's like 95% of the work often, right? Is to stop doing those things. A lot of women are afraid that the whole relationship will fall apart, or nothing will happen, or if they live together, the trash will pile up and things won't get done if they're not constantly managing and doing everything in the relationship. So what would you say to a woman who has that question?
Yes. So then the next part is really expressing how she feels. Like that is the most important thing we can do. And I'll go into a little bit more of how that transforms everything. But when a woman can really be in tune with how she feels, which is, I feel sad that we don't connect in the way that I've always wanted us to connect. I feel sad that, um, or even just saying I feel sad. And
What is the response that most men give when she starts to express her feelings like that and, stop doing all of those things? Because it can be a scary thing, right? I can definitely relate to that. I've found that when you stop doing all the things that push a man away, what happens is feelings start to come up, like all those feelings that we want to cover up by leaning forward and doing things. And so when you start to feel those things, then express them, it can be kind of scary, right? But so what normally happens when a woman does that?
okay, so two things. So she get the more a woman can be in tune with her feelings and express them, the more she starts to value herself, the more her boundaries get stronger, the more her requirements for within a relationship get stronger, which is ultimately attractive to a man. And when then she gets to see what he's actually capable of without trying to change him or get him to do something, which we know nobody wants to be told what to do. So there's typically two scenarios when a woman starts expressing, I feel sad about this, or I feel disappointed, or I feel angry. If a man's capable of giving her the relationship she wants, then he will respond with, well, what can I do? What can I do to fix it? How do we fix this? Or with one example, a man said, well, are we just going to be sad for the rest of our marriage then? And instead of saying, instead of her coming up with how to fix it, which is what a woman will typically do, she will come up with how to fix it.
Yes,
Instead,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So her response was, I don't know, which allowed the energy to stay open so that she didn't go into that overdoing, the giving, the trying to fix it. And what happened was he was able to come up, he was inspired to come up with a solution all on his own. And
Yeah, I love that. I definitely find that too. Men will come up with something if he's truly wanting to work on the relationship, but it's you have to stop picking up the slack for him. Like so many women are like wanting to pick up the slack for a man, even in very subtle ways. I can certainly relate to that myself too. I mean, is this something that you see a lot in clients?
yes, it goes against, it feels so counterintuitive because we're so capable. We're like, well, obviously I can see the solution. Why can't he? But when we're always the ones doing or coming up with a solution, then we're not able to, it's like we don't open up the space for our man to come up with a solution and to follow through and to see like what the relationship is actually capable of.
I love that. Yeah, it's like so the point of this, the point of leaning back, expressing your feelings is not to get a man to do what you want or to like create some connection by doing something, right? I always, women are like, well, what's the next step? What do I do? And it's kind of the wrong approach. It's just to see if he's capable of, picking up the slack and taking that ball and running with it. That's kind of what I'm hearing, right? It's just to see if he's even capable. Is that right?
Right. Because this way, yeah, it has nothing to do with getting him to do something because a man wants to make us happy, especially, I mean, if he's the right man. So it's never about getting him to do something and trying to get the relationship to move forward because he will do that. And what happens when we just see what he's capable of, we start moving more into our power, becoming less codependent. And what will happen is that starts to shift everything. So what in my experience, they'll start making more money. Like he'll get a new job offer, or something will happen within his life, because now there's space for him to actually be who he feels inspired to be, rather than moving away and feeling constricted within the relationship.
I love that. And it sounds so simple. Like that's what keeps hitting. It sounds like such a simple thing, but I know we really found, because we've done group coaching programs together and everything, we've worked with a lot of women on our own and together. The tiniest little shifts like that can get the biggest, most dramatic results. I mean, right? Haven't you found that to be true?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And so even if a woman's come to me and she's like, yes, I've tried everything, and I'm like, okay, let's see, like, try this.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately she will know without a doubt where, if the relationship will move forward or not, and she will be free. Either way, she's going to be free.
I love that. And one question that came to me, because I hear about it all the time, I see it in the comment sections of some of my videos. What do you advise a woman to do with herself during that time where she's pulling her energy off of the man and getting into herself and her own feelings? A lot of women ask, like, it's so hard to wait. Like, I feel like I'm waiting for the guy to do something, and it's that space that gets created. It can be uncomfortable. Do you have any tools or tips for women who are at that place where they stop doing everything and they're kind of waiting? Of course, you never want to just wait for a man. That energy isn't very helpful. But during that time period where she's, looking to see if the man does step up or not.
Yes. So I love it when a woman feels this deep desire within herself to be able to support herself and to be able to bring in money in a way that feels really nourishing to her. So then, as we're shifting the relationship, we start shifting her work dynamic, or the way she's bringing in money. And the tools are the same. They're pretty much because it's all energy work. So while she's watching her relationship unfold, watching the pathway, we are working on bringing in money and literally bringing it to her. So she's not working harder. And so for her to focus on things that feel good to her, and I'm not so focusing on everything that has nothing to do with a man, but I specifically focus with bringing in money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I mentioned Leigha is a men and money mentor. And I know it sounds a little off point, like what, folk bring in money, but it's all related. We did a program together called The Feminine Art of Attraction. And that's like using your feminine energy to bring everything you want to you. Because we've really found that when you're feeling lack in one area, there's it's a similar energy of lack in both those two areas, right, Leigha? That's how it relates. Or can you explain a little bit more about how it relates? I know I've seen it to be true across the board and pretty much all of my clients, but I'd love to hear from you because I know you're a total expert at this topic.
Yeah, thank you. So it's one of my most favorite things to talk about. So the underlying energy behind when a woman is not having the relationship she wants, or she's not having the kind of success she wants in her career, the underlying energy is a mistrust of the masculine within herself, within the relationship, and out in the world. And it's also part of it has to do with not trusting the feminine energy as well. But I work specifically with the masculine because if she is struggling in her love life, it just flows over into money. And so I work on rebuilding that trust. And it starts with really honoring and expressing how you feel. It is basic, but we're simple, right? It's super simple. When a woman starts to experience a man's energy shifting because she's expressing how she truly feels, then her confidence starts to go through the roof. And being able to express how you feel and letting the cards fall wherever they fall requires a lot of trust that everything is going to work out exactly as it should. And she doesn't need to manage the situation, control the outcome in any way. And it's really the purest form of self-love. So if we're operating from self-love, we will attract that energy back to us and where it feels effortless.
I love that. Thank you for just touching on that briefly. And if anyone wants, I mean, I feel like we should do a whole interview just on this one topic, the, men and money and how this all relates. If anyone's interested in that, please type that into the comment section. And hopefully, I would love to do an interview on that, and hopefully Leigha would too, because she has a whole program on this men, money, and intuition, and it all relates. And so, going back to this topic, how to make him fall in love all over again. Let's say a woman does exactly what you just said. She expresses her feelings, lets the cards fall where they're going to fall. Basically, what you're saying is she doesn't have to micromanage it. And I love that. Even just that feeling of like, I don't have to micromanage it. I just have to stay true to myself and express my feelings and stay in touch with my heart and my own desires. Just feels so relaxing, right? And
Right.
so what if the man doesn't pick up the slack? What if what if she does that and maybe there's been a lot of damage in the relationship? I see this with women in like long-term marriages where there's like 25 years of the dynamic, not being the way that it's supposed to. What happens if the man doesn't step up? Like, what would you advise a woman to do there? Should she give it some time? Should she move on? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes, I love this question. So I typically have women implement my coaching for 3 months minimum. And she will know before that. She'll know pretty much right away what he's capable of. It happens so quickly. So when she's expressing how she truly feels and a man isn't responding, inside of her, she will start to feel a sense of relief, even though she'll feel sad, but she'll feel relief because she's no longer pushing. She's actually able to see the truth of the relationship rather than the illusion of what she's always hoped it could be.
That makes so much sense. I know, because when you're leaning forward and trying to make things happen constantly, it's like our perception tends to get clouded, right? And she's not really able to see this man or this relationship for what it truly is. So I love what you said there. When you lean back and kind of align with your heart and your own feelings and desires, your perception, like your intuition kicks in and you're able to really feel it. Right? Do I have that right?
Yes, exactly. And so the women that I work with, they are ready. Like if he's not the right man for her, then she's willing to walk away because she doesn't want to stay in a relationship that will never meet her needs, or that she has to work so hard in order for it to work. Like, she's done with that, and she just wants to know whether or not this is has the capacity to be what she wants it to be.
I love that. I love that. And can you talk a little bit about the energy exchange? Because I know you talk about this in a way that's kind of like my favorite way that anyone has ever explained it. That would be really helpful for everyone when, a man just, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just the relationship dynamic and specifically, us wanting to fill in that gap constantly and what to do when we feel that urge. That would be really, really helpful for everybody.
Okay, yes, I think I know what you're saying. Okay, so within the natural energy dynamic between a man and a woman, so if this is a woman and this is a man, and of course you can have same-sex couples where one is more feminine and one is more masculine energy, but within every romantic relationship there is one predominantly feminine, one predominantly masculine. So when a woman is wanting something from a man, she typically closes this space. And over time or right away, whenever she's going this way, a man will start moving away because he requires this space to build and feel attraction and feel like his most inspired self. So if if a woman can lean back and open up this space, she will know pretty much 100% if he's capable of coming towards her. And this will, it's a win-win because she will feel loved, adored, cherished, and he will feel that he can make her happy because she's feeling these things by him coming close. So we, like, whenever we try and close the gap, it doesn't work. So I had just have every woman lean back, open up the space, and see what he's capable of. And it's really that simple.
It really is. I think that's kind of the theme of this whole topic. Is so much easier. It's not like this complicated code that you have to learn. It really is simple. And it might sound a little easier said than done because I can totally feel that urge to want to like make something happen constantly. But it's really important. And I've really found, Leigha, I'm sure you have too, once a woman tries this and starts to get really dramatic results, quick results, and results that are also permanent and lasting, so much better than these games that people can play just to try to get a man back or get him to do what she wants. It starts to become really natural, right? Have you found that this will start to become second nature? Have you found that like in your own life with your husband or with clients? I would just love to hear your experiences with this.
Yes, absolutely. It's like once you lean back and you experience the magic of a man coming towards you without you doing anything and him wanting to give to you and make you happy, like there is no going back. It's like just once you have that experience of it being so easy, then you're like, when you start to feel yourself wanting to work hard at it, you're like, wait, what am I doing? Like if you just don't want to do that anymore.
Exactly. Yes, I always say like there is no going back. It's something I always say too. It's like you can't unlearn this stuff because sometimes I feel like it's just a part of yourself that's just waiting to be uncovered, and it kind of goes along with our nature as women. It's just kind of a part of who we are. So this is not about manipulation or anything like that. So I love that. And I would just like to end on like, what would you say is like your top tip or top couple of tips, or maybe just some words of wisdom for any woman who's in this situation where she wants to reconnect her relationship and make her man fall in love all over again?
Okay, my top tip is to trust the process, to trust that when you lean back and if you just express a simple feeling of I feel sad or I'm feeling, I would just say that's as simple as I'm gonna make it. I feel sad about da 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 da, not about him, but just what she feels sad about. To trust that that's all she needs to do. There was something else I was going to say, but okay. The reason why women don't trust that it's this simple is because there is a deep fear that if we don't do something, if we don't show a man how much we love him, if we don't show him how much we care, then he's going to go away. So
I hear that all the time. Like, well, what if he's not going to think that I'm working on it or that I'm interested? I totally hear that. Yeah. So what would you tell a woman who has that concern?
So to really trust the process, and that is like the foundation of my programs, because we are rebuilding trust with the masculine and rebuilding trust within herself, and that is for her to be able to trust the process, trust that she can lean back and simply express how she feels. That will start to like bring her to where she wants to be, just baby step by baby step. Can she move quicker? Yes, but she doesn't need to. She doesn't need to make this some big, huge, like quantum leap. It'll happen naturally on its own. Trusting the process, trusting that everything is going to unfold perfectly, that is where the magic is.
I totally agree. And it can be the hardest thing, I know, just from personal experience. Or it's almost like I kind of imagine having like the puzzle pieces of your life or your relationship all coming together around you while you're just staying anchored and feeling strong where you are, rather than scrambling and being frantic and trying to like put all the pieces together, right? Like that's sort of how I'm visualizing this. So does that make sense? I don't even know if I'm explaining that clearly, but that's kind of how I see this.
I love that analogy. Yes, it's like everything falling into place without you doing anything. That is perfect. That is
Yeah.
it.
Yes, when I was hearing you talk, I just imagined all these all these puzzle pieces coming together. Leah has just such a like feminine, soft way of explaining everything. And I love how we're talking about trusting the masculine in this, for this topic. And I would absolutely love to talk with you again soon about, men and money and intuition and all of these amazing things that you have to share. So I'm sure people are going to have questions for you. Where can people find you and, get in contact with you if they're interested in working with you or, learning more about what you do?
Oh, I just love talking with you. So this is so fun. So if anyone has questions, they can go to my website, www.leighalake.com. So that's LEIGHALAKE. And yes, so my ebooks there, tons of blogs. You can also fill out an application if you want to schedule a call, but lots of information there for sure.
Great. Yes. And I will definitely post a link to that in the description of this video. I'll post a link to your ebook and whatever you have going on. I'm sure people are going to be really interested. So thank you so much for talking about this topic today. And I hope to talk with you again soon.